Hello guys. This is my presentation. It is all about the Philippine administrative system, historical evolution, key theories, and its role in the national development. Let's start. What is Philippine administrative system or PAS? The Philippine administrative system refers to the entire framework of institutions, processes, personnel, and practices through which public administration and governance are carried out in the Philippines. It includes national and local government units, constitutional commissions, public corporations, and regulatory agencies tasked with the formulation, implementation, and evaluation of public policies and services. The Philippine administrative system is the entire structure and processes through which government functions are carried out in the country. It includes institutions like government agencies and LGUs, personnel, civil servants, and procedures, policy making, service delivery, and regulations that ensure public policies is created, implemented, and evaluated. For example, Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD. Through the 4Ps Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, DSWD implements a national anti-poverty initiative, coordinating with LGUs for delivery and monitoring, showing how PAS functions from national planning to local execution. Let's go to the next page. Historical evolution of Philippine administrative system. Pre-colonial period. Before Spanish colonization, the Philippines did not have a unified government. Instead, the country was made up of small, independent communities called barangays, each governed by a datu. This period was marked by decentralized, informal, and kinship-based governance. Before Spanish colonization, the Philippines was not a single nation but a collection of independent barangays. Small communities usually made up of 30 to 100 families. Each barangay was governed by a datu, whose authority was based on kinship, leadership skills, and community respect. Governance was decentralized, with no central authority connecting the barangays. Laws were based on customs and traditions, and disputes were settled by the datu with help from a council of elders. For example, in a barangay near the sea, the datu would organize trade with neighboring islands, settle disputes between families, lead the community in defense during raids. All decisions were made within the barangay, showing an early form of localized governance. Let's go to the second one, Spanish colonial era, on 1565 to 1898. During the Spanish colonial era, Philippines was governed through a centralized bureaucracy under the Spanish crown, with the Governor General as the highest authority. To extend control to the local level, Spain introduced civil service roles such as gobernadorcillo, a town chief chosen for the native principalia, responsible for tax collections, public order, and implementing Spanish policies. By the early 16s, especially after the Recopilación de Leyes de los Reinos de las Indias on 1609, the role of gobernadorcillo was formalized. During the Spanish colonial era, the Philippines was governed through a centralized bureaucracy under Spanish crown, with the Governor General as the highest authority. To extend control to the local level, Spain introduced civil service roles such as the gobernadorcillo, a town chief chosen from the native principalia, responsible for tax collection, public order, and implementing Spanish policies. For example, A gobernadorcillo in a pueblo like Vigan would oversee local governance, supervise the cabezas de barangay, and report to the Spanish provincial alcalde mayor, ensuring that even remote areas followed colonial rule. And next, the American period on 1898 to 1946. During the American period, a formal bureaucracy was established in the Philippines, replacing the Spanish colonial system with a more structured and professional government. In 19s, the Americans introduced a merit-based civil service through the Philippine Civil Service Act Number 5, which required competitive exams for government positions. They also implemented a public education system using English beginning in 1901. With the arrival of the Thomasites, American teachers sent to train Filipinos and build schools preparing them for their roles in government and modern society. During the American period, a formal bureaucracy was established to replace the Spanish colonial system with a more professional and structured government. In 19s, the Philippine Civil Service Act, Act Number 5, introduced a merit-based system requiring Filipinos to pass exams to enter public service. By the 1901st, the Americans implemented a public education system using English to train citizens for government roles. For example, a Filipino student educated under the new system could take a civil service exam and become a public school teacher or a municipal clerk positions once reserved for the elite under Spanish rule. Post-independence. In 1946, the present. Post-independence in 1946, the Philippines established key institutions like the Civil Service Commissions, CSC, Commission on Audit, COA, and National Economic and Development Authority, the NEDA, to strengthen governance. A major shift occurred with the Local Government Code of 1991, promoting decentralization by granting greater autonomy and resources to the local government units. After gaining independence in 1946, the Philippines developed its own bureaucracy by establishing agencies like Civil Service Commission to oversee public employment, the Commission on Audit to ensure financial accountability, and the National Economic and Development Authority for economic planning. In 1991, the Local Government Code marked a major shift from centralization to decentralization, giving local governments more power over budgeting, development, and services. For example, a provincial governor can now implement health or infrastructure projects based on local needs without needing prior approval from national agencies, a level of autonomy not possible under earlier centralized system. So let's go to the next page. Key theories influencing Philippine administrative system. Number 1, classical bureaucratic theory. Max Weber. Emphasize hierarchy, formal roles, and specializations. Ensures order, predictability, and efficiency in administration. Number 2, new public management. Focuses on efficiency and results, encourages privatization, and performance-based governance. Number 3, participatory governance involves civil service society and stakeholders in decision making, promotes transparency and inclusiveness, and lastly, decentralization theory. Transfers power to local government units, LGUs, aims to increase responsiveness and accountability. So let's go to the next page. Current structure of Philippine administrative system. Executive branch includes national government agencies such as Department of Health, Department of Public Works and Highways, and Department of Social Welfare and Development, responsible for implementing national policies and programs. The executive branch consists of national government agencies responsible for implementing laws, policies, and programs across the counties. For example, during the typhoon, the DSWD provides relief goods, the DPWH clears damaged roads, and the DOH deploys medical teams to affected areas, demonstrating how executive agencies work together to respond to national emergencies. Local government units, composed of provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays that manage local governance and deliver community-based service. Local government units are responsible for managing local affairs, delivering basic services, and addressing the specific needs of their communities. They have administrative and fiscal autonomy under the Local Government Code of 1991. For example, a municipality may use its local funds to build a healthcare center, with a barangay conducts feeding programs for children, showing how LGUs directly serve their constituents based on local priorities. Oversight bodies. Agencies like the Civil Service Commission, CSC, Commission on Audit, COA, and Office of Ombudsman monitor public sector accountability, transparency, and ethics. Oversight bodies are institutions that monitor and ensure accountability, transparency, and ethical conduct in government operations. Key agencies include the Civil Service Commission (CSC), which oversees public personnel system, the Commission on Audit (COA), which audits government spending, and the Office of the Ombudsman, which investigates compliance against public officials. For example, if a local official is accused of misusing public funds, the COA can audit the accounts, while the Ombudsman investigates and may file charges if misconduct is found. And lastly, coordinating agencies. Key bodies such as National Economic and Development Authority, NEDA, for economic planning and development, and the Department of Budgeting and Management, DBM, for fiscal management and budgeting. Ang mga coordinating agencies ay mga pangunahing ahensya ng gobyerno at na tumutulong sa pagpaplano, pagbabudget, at tamang paggamit ng pondo ng bansa. Ang National Economic and Development Authority, NEDA, ang namumuno sa pangmatagalang plano ng kaunlarang pang-ekonomiya, habang ang Department of Budget and Management ang nangangasiwa sa pambansang budget at pamamahala ng gastusin ng gobyerno. Halimbawa, bago simulan ang isang malaking proyekto, pang-infrastruktura, sinusuri muna ng NEDA kung tugma ito sa pambansang plano ng kaunlaran at naglalaan ng DBM ng pondo para maisakatuparan ito. Tinitiyak ng magkaugnay ang plano at pondo ng pamahalaan. Let's go to the role of Philippine administrative system in national development. The Philippine administrative system is the backbone of government operations. It plays a key role in turning policies into action and delivering service to the people. Key roles. Number 1, policy implementation. Number 2, public service delivery. Number 3, regulatory and development functions. Number 4, promotion of good governance. Number 5, local governance and decentralization. And lastly, capacity building and bureaucratic reforms. Policy implementation is the process of putting government policies, laws, or decisions into practical action. It involves turning written plans or rules into programs, services, and activities that directly impact in the public. In simple terms, it is the doing part of governance where ideas of laws are carried out by government agencies and institutions. Public service delivery is how the government provides essential services like education, healthcare, and social welfare to meet the needs of its citizens. It ensures the public goods reach the people efficiently, fairly, and on time to improve frequent their quality of life. Regulatory function and development function. Regulatory function is the government role in making and enforcing rules of laws to control behavior, protect public interest, and maintain order. Development function is the government's roles in promoting economic growth and social progress by planning and implementing programs like infrastructure, education, and poverty. Promotion of good governance means encouraging transparency, accountability, participation, and fairness in how the government operates. It ensures that public officials act responsibly, decisions are made openly, and citizens have a voice in governance. Capacity building and bureaucratic reforms. Capacity building is the process of improving the skills, knowledge, and resources of government employees and institutions so they can perform their duties more effectively. Bureaucratic reforms are changes made to improve the government's structure and processes to make public service more efficient, transparent, and responsive. So let's go to the next one. The challenges facing Philippine administrative system. The first one is bureaucratic red tape. In the Philippines, red tape often manifests in long quests, multiple signatures for a single document, and inconsistent requirements across government offices. This discourages investments, burdens citizens, and increases the opportunity for bribery as people try to expedite processes. For example, obtaining business permits or clearance can take weeks due to unnecessary steps, prompting many businesses to operate informally or pay facilitation fees. And then next, corruption and lack of transparency. Corruption refers to the abuse of public office for private gain, while lack of transparency involves limited public access to government decisions, transactions, and records. Corruption continues to pervade many levels of government from procurement to hearing due to weak accountability mechanisms and patronage politics. It erodes public trust and wastes limited government resources. For example, ghost projects, overpeace contracts, and non-existent beneficiaries of social programs are common forms of corruption. In many cases, public bidding processes lack transparency and are manipulative to favor specific parties. The third one, fragmentation and overlapping mandates. This refers to multiple government agencies or offices performing similar or conflicting functions, often leading to inefficiency and resources wastage. The Philippine bureaucracy has a complex structure with many agencies created without clear coordination. This leads to turf wars, duplication of efforts, and confusion among citizens. For example, disaster risk management involves several agencies: NDRRMC, PAGASA, DOST, DILG, leading to delays in response and conflicting protocols during emergency. Next one, weak implementation of policies. Many policies in the Philippines are progressive on paper but fall short in practice. Factors include unclear guidelines, lack of trained personnel, and indicate monitoring and evaluation system. For example, the Solid Waste Management Act RA 9003 mandates segregation at source and proper waste disposal, but implementation is uneven, especially in urban, poor, and rural areas. And lastly, limited capacity of LGUs, especially in rural areas. Many local government units, particularly in remote or rural areas, lack the financial, human, and technical resources needed to fulfill their mandates. While the Local Government Code of 1991 decentralization many functions to LGUs, not all were prepared to handle these responsibilities. Smaller municipalities often struggle with basic service delivery due to lack of skilled personnel and limited budgets. For example, some rural barangays lack doctors, engineers, or IT personnel, making it difficult to implement health infrastructure or digital governance programs. Now let's go to the conclusion. The Philippine administrative system plays a crucial role in driving national development by implementing policies and delivering essential public services. Evolving from its colonial origins, it has transformed into a more modern, bureaucratic, and increasingly decentralized system. While it continues to face challenges such as inefficiency and corruption, PAS remains a key mechanism for governance and development. Its ongoing reforms aims to strengthen its capacity to respond to the needs of the people and support long-term progress. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.